Tonight's episode of Raw is in memory of Chavo Guerrero Sr. after the tragic news of his recent passing. Rest in peace, fella. On tonight's show we've got Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens' Festival of Friendship, as well as the Divas/Piss Break Championship between Charlotte and Bayley, again. The Limelight parasite herself, Stephanie McMahon, starts Raw off this week. She says Mick Foley was obviously very tired during Samoa Joe's contract signing last week, so she's giving him the night off tonight and she's in charge. This immediately brings out Roman Reigns, who demands Braun Strowman tonight, who doesn't want to wait till Fastlane. So Steph works the crowd and teases the idea of making a match tonight, but then obviously just pulls it straight away from him. She says that Strowman's got a match against Mark Henry tonight anyway, to which Roman threatens he'll watch ringside and maybe get involved. Steph says that if he does get involved, she's going to punish him severely, but Roman doesn't care because he's the big dog. This brings out Gallows and Anderson. They make a nice little Rolling Stones/House reference, and then they brown nose Steph quite a bit, and then they make a 2-on-1 handicap match between the club and Roman Reigns, which is next. Gallows and Anderson failed to defeat Roman Reigns in a 2-on-1 handicap match. They stuck to the rules for a bit, that didn't work. They started bending and breaking the rules, that didn't work. So they just disregarded the referee's 5 count, didn't tag in, and the referee disqualified them for just beating Roman down. They tried to hit him with a magic killer after the match, but Roman's a strong guy, isn't he? So he just fought that off, and then sent them packing. So this made Roman look really strong. As Stephanie McMahon mentioned in the opening segment, we've got a match between Mark Henry and Braun Strowman for Vince Ep for us to enjoy. And then we get a nice little preview of the Festival of Friendship that's coming up later on. And first we get a little video package of the birth of the List of Jericho, which was nice. That'll be interesting. HBO are making an Andre the Giant documentary. I'll certainly have to give that a watch when it's released. We get the New Day out next, and they're plugging their ice cream idea that they mentioned last week. They tease to everyone that they've got the blueprints right there, and they'll reveal after the match just how they're going to bring everybody ice cream. Poor Bo Dallas, look at him, he's just gone back to his original lame gimmick. I don't know what happened to that little push he had a few months ago, but meh. During the match, Bo rips the ice cream blueprints up, to the horror of the New Day, and then Kofi just gets an SOS for the win. After the match, the New Day steal the $1 Million Man's routine by sticking their money in an unconscious mouth. We treat to a nice little quick bit of banter between Neville and Jack Gallagher backstage, with Charlie the Dwarf refereeing. Gallagher won a Fatal 5-Way on 205 Live last week, so he's now the new #1 contender since Rich Swan's injured. And they're going to face off at Fastlane. Jack Gallagher's in action now against Noam Dar. It was a nice little match. Gallagher finished him off with a headbutt and then the running dropkick in the corner. Then after the match, while Gallagher's having his hand raised, Neville appears on the ramp and poses, looking forward to the match at Fastlane. Triple H and Samoa Joe show up in a limo looking like they mean business. Well, Emmalina finally makes an appearance on Raw, only to say she's going to go back to being Emma, so fuck knows what all that noise was about. 17 weeks, wasted probably, God knows. I'm hoping it is just the result of someone in creative getting a slap of common sense, and she's going to go back to her previous heel persona where she's that slutty space cop from some B-movie. It worked well, it didn't need fixing, I have no idea why they wanted to change it. Charles the Dwarf is backstage interviewing Bayley, who's obviously caught the entitlement bug from either Charlotte or Sasha Banks, as now she's even comparing herself to Lita and Trish. While Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho prepare for their Festival of Friendship later on tonight, Triple H appears and asks to borrow Kevin Owens for a minute. And then when we come back we see Kevin Owens and Triple H plotting quietly, and I agree, it does actually look like one of those little cutscene storyline bits from the old SmackDown games. After 5 minutes of tie-ups and rest holds, Mark and Braun are really knackered, so they just finished it with Braun's power slam for the win. After that, Reigns gets in the ring and tries to have a go at Strowman, but Strowman fends him off. 2 Superman punches doesn't put him down, and then Strowman just flattens him with a running power slam. I'm not quite sure when and why Bayley and Cesaro became friends. I know they're involved in a 6-person tag a few weeks ago, but what's the link between them all other than that? They're just hanging out backstage when Enzo and Kaz appear, and they start to stir the pot. Enzo gets himself into trouble and Big Kaz stands in front of him, and I think the only thing I can pick from all that is Enzo and Cesaro going to have a fight later on. But it's a bit hard for me to keep track with Enzo, to be honest. He doesn't half waffle some shit. We had a nice little sit-down interview with Samoa Joe, and sadly with Michael Cole as well. It's quite informative, just filling in some more blanks of why Samoa Joe's here and his alliance with Triple H, and just getting Joe's character over in general. If you've seen Joe's work elsewhere, you'll find nothing new here really, but since he's now on the Raw roster, it's all useful nonetheless. After Sami Zayn defeats Rusev with a Helluva Kick, he's asked about his US title loss by Charles the Dwarf. Zayn plays the keep your chin up card, and then addresses Samoa Joe's comments about him in his little interview with Michael Cole earlier on. Moments after this, Samoa Joe appears and beats the piss out of Zayn for disrespecting him, as you'd expect, so I'm guessing they're going to be fighting at Fastlane. As it was mentioned earlier on in the night, Penfold has been inducted into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. I'm sure Danger Mouse will be well proud. The Brian Kendrick joins the commentary table, while Akira Tozawa defeats Ariya Daivari, using his wonderful Japanese-German suplex for the win. Great showing from both lads, and it's nice to see Kendrick's got something to do, even though he's not chasing the championship at the moment. Well, they've done it. They've finally done it. They've pulled the trigger on it. It took a lot longer to come about than I expected, so I'm happy for that. But I feel this young boy's pain. Look how upset that poor lad is. and everybody was upset with what happened, especially Chris Jericho. However, the segment itself was fantastic. It's possibly the best thing I've seen on wrestling in fucking 10 years or so. Jericho starts us off on the Titantron and then he appears on the stage looking shiny as ever, sparkly silver fucking outfit. He was loving it. He brings out some Vegas showgirls and then Kevin Owens, who looks very uncomfortable but in an amusing manner. Jericho takes Owens down into the ring and he says he's got some gifts for him. A very homoerotic sculpture, quite sure it's a Fidelity statue. Jericho claims it's just fancy. And then he presented to him possibly the most amazing piece of art I've ever seen. I would happily hang that on the wall of my office slash bedroom slash cupboard here at Botchamania HQ. Just look at that. It's gorgeous. And then yet another surprise, Jericho's hired a magician to come and perform a few tricks for Owens, who's not very impressed. He says his kid can do those tricks and better. And then lastly, the icing on the cake of gifts from Jericho. He calls out Goldberg and says they're going to kick shit out of him. But then Gillberg appears, and Owens just loses it. Owens goes out and beats the fuck out of Gillberg and comes back into the ring, throws a hissy fit, and asks why they're not jumping Goldberg to give him advantage at Fastlane. But then after he calms down, he says he's got a little present for Chris Jericho. Jericho thinks it's a brand new list because his current one's battered and broken, but he notices his name's at the very top of it, and as he takes it out of the box, it reveals it's not the list of Jericho, it's the list of KO. And then Owens smacks him in the face and proceeds to beat the snot out of him for the next 10 minutes, including a powerbomb to the apron and slamming his head through the Geritron 6500, 7000, I don't know what model he's got now. And this left Jericho needing to be carried off in an ambulance, and there wasn't a dry eye in the entire arena afterwards. So yeah, like I say, I really enjoyed this segment. The whole build-up for it throughout the night was good. They had little previews for the Festival of Friendship. We started off with the birth of the list of Jericho, and it showed El Jericho. It showed Jericho saving Owens in Hell in a Cell, and then against Roman Reigns at Roadblock, as well as finally Jericho accepting Goldberg's challenge on Kevin Owens' behalf last week. So it's a really nice little summary of their friendship, their storylines, their year together has it been, and I've really enjoyed the way they praised it, raised it up, and then put a bullet through its fucking head live on television. That's not the first time Enzo's thrown the microphone all the way across the fucking stage. Well done, daft cunt. You see, a part of me actually enjoyed this match, for the same reason me and Corey Graves enjoyed it. Just getting to see Cesaro knock Enzo around for a few minutes and then finish him off with a big pop-up European uppercut. Lovely. After the match, Sheamus and Big Cass bicker, but Cesaro gets in the middle of it and keeps them apart. And now it's Byron Saxton's turn to lead the conversation for a change, but only because it's Black History Month. Good effort. As Charlotte Flair heads to the arena, she bumps into Sasha Banks and pokes a bit of fun. This is obviously going to set Sasha up to come and interfere later on, isn't it? Next week, it's the Big Show's turn to put Braun Strowman over and give Vince a quick fun 5 minutes. I did mention this quite a few issues ago, but I feel like with Bayley and Charlotte, they're just repeating Sasha and Charlotte, and I'm spot on once again it seems. Title match, main event of Raw, Charlotte loses, she'll probably get it back at the pay-per-view. Even a sloppy moonsault from Charlotte couldn't keep my interest in the match, and the crowd themselves weren't even bothered until Bayley's Frankensteiner off the top. It seems Charlotte let Dana Brooke out of the understairs cupboard to interfere in the match because we've not seen her for a couple of months, so she needed her at this point. But Sasha equalised and neutralised her, leaving Bayley to hit the Bayley to belly for the win. So yeah, that was the main event. They should have just saved the Festival of Friendship for the main event. It was a lot more entertaining, and it kept everyone's interest for a lot longer. That's enough out of me for the time being. If you'd like to ask me questions or leave me abuse, I can be found on Twitter @BluntDamage. If you'd like to leave a comment with the video, you can follow the link in the description to the Botchamania site and do so there. And while you're on the Botchamania site, you can check out 10 quality years of Botchamania, obviously. The entire backlog of my Raw Rant all the way back to my written pieces, Vinny's midweek wrestling write-ups, and a shit ton more great stuff to keep you busy on the site. Also, if you like my theme music, the band are The Colour Fire, they can be found at www.thecolourfire.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.